Hi, everybody. Welcome to Faculty Lounge this week. I will be your host today. My name is Justin Brooksby. We're glad you could make it with us. Just for your information and to let you know, each episode of Faculty Lounge will be recorded and will be available online for your viewing pleasure at a later time. Today, we're happy to have Michael Hakkarainen, one of the new professional development instructors here at UEN, with us today, and he will be sharing with us a product called Symbaloo. And we've done this one before. It's been a little while, and it's actually one of the more popular topics that we've had in the past. I was just looking through, and so we're happy to see what new information Michael has to share with us. So I will turn the time over to Michael.
Thank you, Justin. Just do a sound check, make sure everybody can hear me okay. As Justin said, my name's Michael. I'm one of the new guys here at the UEN professional development team, and I'm really excited to be sharing Symbaloo with you. I'm going to switch over to my desktop so you guys can see what I have put together for everyone to look at. As we were saying, Symbaloo is something we've shown before in the faculty lounge. And if you're joining us at the end of your school day, I hope you're kicking back, relaxed, and ready to check out a new tool that you can use to make life a little bit easier for you on the web. If you haven't seen Symbaloo before, or if it's new to you, it's not an online Disney interactive virtual environment like the name kind of implies there, simulation for Baloo, but it's actually a place to create a nice homepage or start page that simplifies all of your resources on the web into one place that's visually appealing. You can see here a Symbaloo page as an example. If you want to look at some of the older Symbaloo presentations that we've done, or any of the Faculty Lounge presentations, I just want to point out that they're all in our archives, which have recently been updated. If you go to uen.org and professional development, click on Faculty Lounge, you'll see the page that you joined the Faculty Lounge today, and then look over to the right for the Watch Past Episodes link, and the page has been updated to show monthly our 3 or 4 faculty lounges that we do each month, and they're all listed there, and you can always go back and look at the things we did last year and all the way back to about 2009, which is fun to do if you want to see what some of those websites looked like back in time. So Symbaloo. Start simple. It's an online tool that's free that allows you to take all of your bookmarks and put them into this iPad style looking web mix with little tiles that are links to each page that you might use. So if you're familiar with cloud-based social bookmarking or bookmarking in general, you know that here's a clip from my Google Chrome page where I have all my bookmarks listed across the top of the page. And sometimes people use like their bookmark manager and you have a list of bookmarks, but when you go from place to place or computer to computer, maybe you don't have your bookmarks with you. There are some tools out there like Digo and Delicious, and even Pinterest, if you think about it, are great ways to take all of your bookmarks and put them in one place and not only have them for yourself, but share them with other people. You can also tweet out all of the websites that you use, but that can be a mess when you try to find them all or be able to organize them. Or more importantly, if you're working with students and kids, you want them to have something that they can just intuitively go to and click on to get to the sites that they need to use. So Symbaloo has put it into an interface that looks a lot like an iPod. If you think about the way, or an iPad, or even an iPhone, if you think about the way the apps are lined up in the little squares, Symbaloo does the same thing, and each square or tile takes you to the website that you've indicated for it to go to. And there is even an iPhone app that you can put on your iPhone or your iPod Touch or even your iPad so that your Symbaloo links are all there portable for you on your mobile device. Symbaloo is also very easy to share, or it can be embedded, and this is a skill I'll show you when we get into my Symbaloo. You can see this student here is working on a laptop, and the teacher has put Symbaloo onto the web so that any of the resources they're using are right there ready to click on and ready to go. This is my Symbaloo. We're going to jump into that here in just a second. But first, if you don't have a Symbaloo account already, it'll only take you a minute to create an account. You can do it while you're watching the Faculty Lounge video. You would go to symbaloo.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, look for that Create Free Account or Login button. One option you have is to log in with your Google account, and that's what I like to do because I always log into Google on Chrome whenever I go to a different computer, and simply click register or sign in with Google, and it takes me right to my Symbaloo page, which I've set up to be my home page. So before you dive in, think about the tool and why you're using it. We don't teach with tools because of the tool. We find tools that we need because of our needs. And Symbaloo can sort of solve the following problems for you. It's great for keeping track of the websites that you use for presentations or research. So I know that Rob here at UEN will sometimes create a Symbaloo for each one of his workshops and then share it with the participants so that all the links he has are right there for them to click on as he's going through his classes. It's easy to share those Symbaloos and web mixes with people, or you can make it your homepage, which I've done, so that everything I need is right there in one place. And remember that this is all cloud-based, so it's portable. So Symbaloo will make life not only easier for you, but easier for everyone you work with on the web. So let's take a look at my Symbaloo. I'm going to jump out of this Google slideshow that I made and take you to my homepage, which is a Symbaloo page. And you'll notice here are the little tiles that I was talking about. Each one of them is a link to one of those websites. So for example, if I click on the UEN tile right there, it opens up a new page in a new tab, and we're at probably the best educational website in the state of Utah, uen.org. I've also put our radio station that we work with and KUED up here in this line. And sort of my rationale here for organizing this was I put like the stuff I use for work up in the upper left-hand corner. Here's a link to our UES Canvas instance, and then everything that I use to support teaching in Canvas is linked off to the side. Got some organizations like USET, which is coming up pretty soon. Make sure you register. If you go to uset.org, you'll find all the information you need for the conference. Also, got some other school districts I've worked with. I got some Google tools down here, some of the University of Utah things, and then over here on the right are all the tools I like to use when doing instructional technology trainings. Up in the upper right-hand corner, some of the social media sites that we use. And in the center is a Google search window that's put there by default. So if you notice, some of these tiles are blank, and I can click on them and add links to new pages. So if I wanted to have a link maybe to our faculty lounge, I could go into uen.org. I think it's /faculty lounge, we'll find out. Yep, there it is. All I have to do is copy this link. So I'm going to Command C to copy that. And in Symbaloo, I click on one of my blank tiles, and it automatically becomes an Add a New Tile button, which when I click on it, opens up this little smart window on the left. I'll create a new tile and put the address here. And this is a website. Symbaloo is pretty smart because it's on the web, so it goes out to that website and finds the name for it. Look at that, Faculty Lounge UEN. And then it suggests that I use these icons that it found maybe on the web, like this picture here that happened to be on that site. If I don't like that icon, I can choose a different color, right? And then show text underneath, like maybe that, to explain what the page is. And then I click Save. Now my new tile is there and ready to go when I need a link to the Faculty Lounge. So I showed you how to make a tile, but you're probably wondering, how do I make a web mix? Because when you first open up, you're just going to basically see their default web mix, which looks like this, which has kind of those commonly used tools like Facebook and Twitter, YouTube and Gmail, and things like that. But there's a little plus symbol in the tabs hanging down over here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus symbol, and here's how I make a brand new web mix. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to do a web mix on Google Tools because I love Google stuff. And one of my options is to click RSS feeds down here. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But let's first make a Google Tools web mix. Click Add, and there it is. It's blank, and by default it has the Eiffel Tower. I don't really like the Eiffel Tower icon right there. It's making me a little confused, so I'm just going to go over on the left to this little grill section here. These are my settings. I can go in there and change things like the name of it and stuff like that, and it shows me my other Symbaloos. Or up at the top, options. And that opens up another little menu here. And one of the options is to rename the web mix or change the wallpaper. So let's just go to something basic like this nice calming blue color. There we go. A couple other things I can do in here are change the web mix size. If I turn that on, I get these little arrows out on the side, and I can make my web mix bigger or smaller, both horizontally and vertically. So it's very customizable, and I can do whatever I like with it. One of the things I'm going to do now is start to add some tiles, and wherever I want to put a tile, I simply click on it, and there's my Create a Tile window, and I can go in and make a new tile. Now, lots of people are using Symbaloo, so not only are there the tiles that I can make, but I can also search for a tile that maybe somebody else has already created for me, maybe a link to Google Drive. So if I do a search for Google Drive, look at that, already made. Puts in the Google Drive icon, and if I click on it, it opens up my drive. Now I should point out, I'm already logged into Google. So you can see up here I have my pd.uen in the upper right hand corner. That's my Google instance, and I'm already set up to go. So that's why when I click on this, it takes me to my drive logged in and ready to show me all of my documents and files. So that's important to do, otherwise it would probably take you to a login page. Wonder what else I could put on here. How about I add a tile for Gmail? So I'll just do a search for that, see if it's already there. Gmail, got it. And that's how I build my Symbaloo web mix. Now if this was a web mix that was all about Google and I didn't have time to search for all those tiles, I can make my life a little bit easier by coming up here to the search window and searching for a whole web mix on Google, and specifically Google and education. Let's see if we can find one. So I'll type Google education, and there's eTools for education, and then down here Google for EDU. That looks pretty full, so I'll click on that. And it takes me out of my Symbaloo collection for just a second and shows me this information about a web mix made by VV Tech Leader in Los Angeles. And it's got all kinds of links to Google Tools and Discovery Education and things like that. There's Tammy Worcester's templates. This is good. This is great stuff. So rather than build this, I'm just going to take hers. So I'll click Add this web mix. Now I'm back on my web mixes. Remember my home? There it is up there to the left. Here's the Symbaloo default one. Resources, the Google Tools one that I started to make, and the Google for Educators that was already made. So this one has a little lock on it because it means I can't edit that one. It's already been created by somebody else, but at least I have it and I can share it if I want, just like she did. If I wanted to share mine, I would use this little button up here, this sort of universal icon for sharing. It's blue right now because mine's already shared. But if I wanted to share one that wasn't shared, I would simply click the share button, make sure my web mix has a name, give it a description, any related words, things like that, and then click share my web mix. I can decide though if I want it to be public or private. I'm going to keep it private because it's not done yet. Share my web mix, and now I have a link to my web mix that I can post somewhere, or I can get an embedded code. And the embedded code allows me to put this website into, or put this Symbaloo web mix, I should say, into any one of my web mixes. So I already have a web page that I made that that I'd like to show you real quick. I made it in my UEN. So I'll log in to my UEN. Then I'll go up to my personal page, my public page. And what I did was I made a new announcement and simply dropped in the embed code for my Symbaloo right there. And this way I can share all those resources that I use in presentations and whatnot in one place. However, if I was doing a presentation just on Google Tools, then I might want to just share this link with all of the tools for Google. So speaking of Google tools, if you use Google Drive a lot, you probably find yourself doing a lot of clicks to make a new document. You might go in and click My Drive, New, Google Doc, and it takes you here to a blank document. Now, I'm not really good at HTML code or anything like that, but every once in a while I'll actually read a URL just to see what's up there. And check this out. docs.google.com/a/that's my instance. This is a document, and then there's a bunch of gobbledygook after it. Well, I found out that if you take all this gobbledygook here and erase it and put in the word create, notice how this ends in edit, it will make a brand new document. So I learned this from one of the ed techs at Canyon School District. I'm not going to say his name because he'll get a little overconfident, but I'm going to copy all of that right there, right? Then I'm going to go back into Symbaloo, and I'm going to make a new square, or a tile. I'm going to paste that, and then at the end of the word document, I'm just going to type the word create. Let's see what happens if we do this. So I'll put down here a name. It says sign into Google. I'm going to change that, and let's see if this works. Call it new document. And I'll show the text and say save. Okay, so bear with me for a second here. Remember this link went to my Google Drive? If I click new document, bang, it opens up a brand new document for me just to get started. So my home page just saved me like 3 clicks. I don't have to click Drive, New, Create, Document. I can just be in Symbaloo and click this square and go right to my new document. The same can be done if I go back to my UEN. You'll notice I made the same link for making a new sheet or making a new presentation. I just changed the word in there, and if I right-click on that tile, I can go in and look at it. Look, there's a new spreadsheet. But if I right-click on a tile, I can go to Edit, and you'll notice that in the URL link, it says pd.url spreadsheet/create. Do the same with slides/create. You can make shortcuts to your documents or creating a new document. If you have a document already made, for example, in my drive, I have this little Symbaloo intro that we're doing, the presentation I showed you before. If I simply copy the link to that presentation and make sure that it's shared with everybody, so in my sharing settings, I have to turn it so it's not private, but make sure that everyone with the link in the world can view it. There it is now, public on the web. If I take that URL up there and go into Symbaloo, I can just make a tile that takes you to that presentation. So I'll say create a tile, paste the link, it goes out there and looks for it. This might take a second, or I can type, nope, got it, Symbaloo intro. Perfect. Show text. Go. Now, if you think about it, you can link to your documents. You can also link to YouTube videos. So here's a great page I like to use about using Google search in education. If I click on that image, it opens up a video, which I can look at in YouTube. And here's the link to the YouTube movie. So I'll copy that URL, go back into Symbaloo, and let's try to add that movie and see what it looks like. Come down to this tile, give that just a second to load, or refresh it. Click a new tile. Maybe I've overwhelmed it. There we go. Create a tile, paste the link to the YouTube movie, Give it a second to find it. And Symbaloo knows it's a YouTube movie, so it puts a big red play button right there. And I'll show the text over it and say save. Now this is really nice for your students who you probably wouldn't want to link them to a movie out on YouTube where they can see all the ads and everything. But in Symbaloo, it opens up a little browser window for you and just shows you the video. None of the ads at the bottom, none of the suggested videos at the end or anything on the side, none of those distractions. And then when I'm done watching it, I can just close it with the X up here and I'm back in my Symbaloo. So again, for presentations or anything like that, throw your videos right in there, just like that, so it's nice and easy. One last thing I want to talk about. At the beginning, I showed you when you make a new Symbaloo, you could set it up to be RSS feeds. And this is really cool, because if you're a blog reader and you're going and visiting different blogs, Symbaloo can create a page where it brings all the RSS feeds from those blogs to your Symbaloo site. So let's try that real quick before we wrap this up. I'm going to click the plus symbol again up here at the top. And this web mix I'm going to call blogs and feeds, or blog posts. Check the RSS feeds button and say add. Now at first it just looks like a regular Symbaloo, and they put the little jungle scene on the background just by randomness. I don't really like that. So again, I'm going to go to options and change that wallpaper to just be something simple, like a white page or a black page. There we go. And here I'm going to add tiles just like I did before, except this time I'm going to paste in the RSS feed. So here's an example of a really cool blog. This is Cool Cat Teacher, and she's going to be one of our keynote speakers at USET, if I could put a plug in there for Vicky. And somewhere on Vicky's page there should be an RSS icon so that I can subscribe to her blog. Maybe not. If Vicky doesn't have one, I know that there is one here on EduDMIC. Let's see if we can find one here. Oh, there it is right there in the upper right hand corner. This is the RSS feed we're looking for, this weird dot with the waves coming out of it. And when I click on it, it takes me to all this code for that website. All I'm going to do is copy the URL for that RSS feed and put it into Symbaloo here, just like I would a link to a website. Wait for it to find its name. There it goes. Click save, and now my tile isn't a link to the website, but the actual RSS feed. Let's try that again. Here's another really great blog you should read, mine, right? So I'm going to come down and click on post to subscribe to the EdTech Hack one. Now that's a lot of code. That's kind of difficult to look at. But if I copy just the address and go back into Symbaloo, I'll add a tile, put in my address, see if it finds my name, show text so I know what it is, click save. And now I have another tile in Symbaloo with the feed to my blog over there. So I could put in all the blogs I'm reading and then just scroll through and look at the dates and the times and say, is this something I want to read? Hover over it. If I want to read that, click on it, takes me right to the blog and I can read that entry. So Symbaloo can do a lot for you to make your life easier. You can get your blog RSS feed sent to you. You can create a home page that's easy for students to use and use the share button to either share a link to it or embed it into your website. You can also make presentation Symbaloos ready to go with commands like I showed you for opening new Google documents, spreadsheets, Gmail, things like that. All in one place, all ready to go. So with that, what I'm going to do real quick is check out the faculty lounge conversations over here and see if there's any questions, if anybody has anything to say. Dustin thinks I'm a cool cat. Thanks, Dustin. I think you are too. And go Tigers. So you're not a cool cat anymore, Dustin. But if there's any questions, you can type them over there in our conversation window. Otherwise, I invite you to stop back for the next faculty lounge next Wednesday, or next Thursday at the same time. Looks like Vicky's typing. and check out what we have new for you guys in our faculty lounge. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to share with you. I hope you enjoy Symbaloo and find it as easy to use as I did.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Appreciate you sharing that. Let me bring back the schedule here and show you what we have coming up. So next Thursday, February 5th, I will be sharing with you Animoto. It's a tool that you guys might have seen. It's been around for a while, but there's been some revisions recently, and I'm going to share those with you. And then February 12th, Jared will be sharing with us Chromebooks in the classroom. So thank you all once again for joining with us today, and remember, you can check out our archives at uen.org/faculty lounge, and we will see you next week.